Hello and welcome to our regional finals for London. In our primary class competition, I hope you are all ready and revved up, ready to go for the racing today in this show. We are incredibly excited to be here in the studio. I've got with me Amy, Nelson and Lawrence. Hi to all of our teams. We're delighted to bring in this racing show live from F1 in Schools HQ at our factory in Brighouse. So let's find out what's happening in the show today. Meeting the teams, finding out who we are going to be competing against. We're then going to get an expert verdict, which is from a student who has just competed in our world finals in the secondary competition. And then finally, the reason you're all watching, we're going to get your cars on track and we're going to check out how they perform in today's races. But before we do that, let's make some noise. On the count of 3, I want everybody to shout and scream F1 in Schools as loud as you possibly can. Scream your classroom down. Make sure that every single person nearby can hear you screaming F1 in Schools. So after 3, 1, 2, 3, F1 in Schools!
That was good.
That was pretty good.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely hear students still shouting F1 in Schools. Well, keep it up. Cheer your own team on, but cheer everyone else's team on as well throughout the course of this show, please. And don't forget, if you want to pop any comments into the YouTube stream, please do. And also ask your teacher to do that if you can't. But before we get started, let's check out and remind ourselves what the primary class is all about. Well, how exciting. That's really got us excited in the studio to get the racing started. Fantastic stuff there. So what we need to do now is we need to find out who are you competing against in today's regional. So let's head over and check out the teams.
And lining up on the grid today, we are going to have La Dame Blanche,
Galaxy Balls.
PA Racing,
Zoom.
Abdul Benz,
Daiser.
the Dream Team,
The Power Hound.
Lightning Waves,
Dogs of Flame.
and very ominous Serpents of Doom.
Ooh, excellent stuff. Those team names are fantastic. I cannot wait to see how these teams perform out on track. Now, some of our teams have sent us in some introduction videos. We are disappointed that we're not out on the road and in person, but we are going to be back next season in person, so make sure you register now for next season live. The link is live on our website and it'll be in the bio somewhere around here. I don't know, we're really poor YouTubers over here, but make sure you do register. And if you have left your primary school now because of the delay in the season, make sure you get onto your secondary school teacher and get you signed up into our secondary competition. So without further ado, let's see the teams.
Hi, we are La Dame Blanche. Hi, we're the Galaxy Balls.
Hello, we are the Dream Team. We are the Power Hound. Hello, we are the Lightning Waves.
Wow!
Love
Some
it.
attitude there and some absolutely amazing stuff from all of our teams. We love to see it. So thank you very much for sending in those videos. Really, really exciting stuff. I hope you were screaming when you saw yourself there live on this stream. So we're going to have a quick look and get some words of advice from a fellow competitor who, as I mentioned before, was in our secondary competition. She made it all the way through to the Worlds and got on the podium. An absolutely astounding achievement. So let's see what Heya has got to say.
Hi, I'm here and I'm the project manager for Blackout. I've been competing for 4 years and we've had incredible success during that time, coming second in both the national and world finals. F1 in schools has opened so many doors for me. Since competing, I've been able to visit Silverstone for the actual Grand Prix, and we got a tour of Alfa Romeo, including the incredible opportunity to meet their head strategist. I've also been in contact with the PMIEF, the Project Management Foundation, which is really exciting. F1 has been essential in my development as it's helped me to develop teamwork skills and growing confidence to be able to speak from businesses from all around the world. The one thing I would say is never give up, because F1 will get hard. It's an incredibly demanding project, but it can do so much for you, and if you find the right teammates, you'll have incredible fun along the way. To all the teams, the best of luck while competing. Have a really great time.
Well, fantastic to hear from Haya there. Absolutely astonishing what Team Blackout achieved, and it's great to hear from a fellow competitor. Just think that could be you one day. That could be you getting all the way up to the World Finals through our competition at F1 in Schools. But it's really, really starting to heat up now because we are going to go racing. So let's check out our first two teams of this regional for London. Amy, over to you.
Well, I hope they're not going to be making us Les Miserables with La Dame Blanche and the Dream Team.
Wow, two amazing team cars there with some fantastic colours. Lawrence, over to you for the first time to pull out some stats for us.
Well, yeah, these designs are really popping out of the screen, but underneath those fantastic liveries, we can actually see two very similar body shapes taken by these teams. So I think it'll actually be how well these teams have built their cars, which is the differentiator out on track today.
Well, let's see if the Dream Team and the Dame Blanche can perform well on our racetrack. Let's head out and find out what happens in our very first race of this regional. Off we go.
Race 1 in lane 1 with La Dame Blanche and lane 2 with the Dream Team.
And La Dame Blanche making an amazing start there with a 1.767. The Dream Team close behind with a 2.649.
Absolutely astonishing race there. Under 2 seconds for La Dame Blanche in their very first race. Really well done. And the Dream Team there posting that 2.649 seconds. Really, really top stuff from both teams. Just want to mention our track team. We've got Amy and Max running up and down our 20-metre track, and they are pulling the cars from the end of the track. They load in the 4-gram canisters to make sure that your cars are set and ready to go so we can keep this show rolling. And there we have a fist bump from Amy outside. Let's head out on track and check out the next race.
Next race, still in the same lanes, La Dame Blanche and the Dream Team. Lights out, let's see who takes it, Amy.
And La Dame Blanche doing an amazing job yet again with a 2.107. The Dream Team very close behind with a 2.35.
What a drive from both teams there. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Really, really enjoyed that race. A lot closer from both teams there. Lawrence, is there anything that can slow or speed our teams up as they're going down our track over the course of the 4 races?
Yeah, well, we did see the Dream Team go, I think, 0.3 faster in that second race, which is a massive difference. And I think that's because when you first install those standard wheel systems, they can be a bit tight. So throughout the racing, they just loosen up, there's a little less friction, and the teams go faster and faster.
Well, that was a fast and furious race then, wasn't it? Let's get out on track and see the next race.
Well, let's see if we're going to have another merci beaucoup from the La Dame Blanche. Or will the Dream Team take it?
And the Dream Team takes that one, Nelson, with a 2.097. La Dame Blanche doing an amazing job with a 2.205.
Well, that was too fast and too furious, wasn't it, Amy? Absolutely fantastic out there. Lawrence, we've got some wheel systems that we're using there. Could you just explain about the wheels? Is it the same for every team, or can people have different wheel systems?
Yeah, so as our entry to F1 in schools, all of the primary class teams have to use the same wheels, the same axles, and the same axle bushings. And that just means that we keep the competition nice and even, and the two things that really differentiate our competition are the shapes of the car, those aerodynamics defined by your body, and the masses of the car, how light it is.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Lawrence. It's great to get that technical information. Let's head out for our next race on track then.
Next race and final race for these two teams, guys. The Dream Team in lane 1 and La Dame Blanche in lane 2.
And La Dame Blanche making that 3 out of 4 races won with a 2.051. Very quick. The Dream Team really close behind with a 2.111.
Wow, that was really close racing. Really, really top stuff from both teams there. It's so nice to see you out on track, see you posting such fantastic times. So really, really well done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you were screaming the classroom and school down, and maybe even the city centre as well. But let's check out our leaderboard for the first time. There we have it, La Dame Blanche there in first position with that 1.767, and the Dream Team in second position with a very respectable 2.097. La Dame Blanche, however, you've got an asterisk next to your name, and Nelson's just going to explain what that might mean.
Well, F1 Schools provides the students with a set of rules and regulations, and those rules and regulations define some measurements, minimum and maximum for the cars. That means that some cars will be under investigation for a potential technical regulation breach. We want all of the races to be fair, but this will not take the team from the possibility of winning overall, but it may take them off of a specific award like the fastest car.
An element of quality control maybe that needs to be built in to part of your design process, which I'm sure it definitely has anyway. Right, well, let's check out our next two teams then, please, Amy.
And the next two cars we're going to be having on track are the Galaxy Bulls and the Power Hound.
Wow, a back to the future theme there from Galaxy Bulls with that Power Hound with that Ferrari look. Over to you, Lawrence.
Well, the Raging Bull on the left is looking fantastic. I'm loving that gold flake almost on the back of the car. And the Power Hound, that is also looking particularly energetic. You see, we've got two different strategies with the rear wings. The Galaxy Bulls have something more like an F1 car with those nice vertical side planes supporting that top element, whereas the Power Hound have just gone for that flat, slightly rounded surface on the top. Maybe a little less drag there, we'll have to see.
Let's find out in race number 1.
Race number 1, let's see if they're going to be the guardians of the Galaxy Bulls, full of power, against the Power Hound in lane 2.
And the Galaxy Bulls doing an amazing job there with a 1.962, just under the 2 seconds. The Power Hounds with a 2.215.
Wow, posting some great times there for both teams. Galaxy Bulls going under that 2-second barrier in their first race with a Power Hound so close behind. I wonder if the Power Hound will be able to get under that 2-second barrier throughout the course of these 4 races. So let's get straight out on track and check out race number 2.
Race number 2, guys, with the cars still in the same lanes. Galaxy Bulls against the Power Hound.
And another amazing job from the Galaxy Bulls with a 1.952. The Power Hounds close behind, a lot closer to the 2-second mark with a 2.086.
Really, really close. Times improving nicely as we see them moving down the track. And in a second, we'll see the cars on different lanes. And Amy, you've competed before. Did you find a specific lane was faster than the other?
Tom, I think you're going to get told off for saying that. This track team has worked so hard to make sure both the lanes are even. So yeah, there's always myths in F1 in schools about whether one lane's faster than the other, but it's really important that your car can withstand all races no matter what order you get put in. So no, I think the lanes are perfectly even.
Absolutely. Well, I hope the track team don't come and tell me off for saying that. They're doing a fantastic job out there, so well done to Amy and Max. Right, let's check out the next race.
Next race, race 3, the Power Hound now in lane 1 and Galaxy Bulls in lane 2. This is really Star Wars, Tom.
And the Galaxy Bulls sending it into the Milky Way with a 1.873. Great time for them. And the Power Hounds with a 2.103.
Absolute fantastic stuff again. Some really, really good times coming down this track, incredibly fast and incredibly close. I hope you're having a great time watching the show. As I've said before, make sure you're making tons of noise and disrupting the rest of the school. Let's get out there now and check out race number 4, the final one of this pairing.
Race number 4, the force is with you, teams. The Power Hound, Galaxy Bulls, who will take it?
And the Galaxy Bulls take that, Nelson, with a 1.9339. The Power Hounds, the 2.059.
Wow, what a great finish. How close was that racing? Absolutely amazing to see. Really well done to both our teams there, and I'm sure you really want to know where you're on the leaderboard, so let's have a quick look. And here's the leaderboard. There is the Galaxy Bulls. They're in position 2 with that 1.873. And we've got the Power Hounds space jamming themselves into the 2.059. What a great time. And look how compact that leaderboard is, Lawrence. Do you think, or would you expect to see those kinds of times from our primary class students?
Well, I have to say, Blanche, that's a fantastic time. I think teams will really struggle to beat that. But in fact, they're all really, really close. And this is just showing, the standard of teams. This is such a fantastic quality. And I think they're all ready to, progress into our secondary competition when the time comes.
Nice. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Well, I think it's time to introduce our next 2 teams. Over to you, Amy.
Well, these 2 next teams are going to definitely bring it on. PA Racing and Lightning Waves.
Wow, look at those 2 cars. I'm loving the lightning bolts from the Lightning Waves. A great team identity there. And PA Racing, look at those colours and some great branding there as well on the front wing. Over to you, Lawrence.
Well, I love the car from PA Racing. You can see they've got that slope all the way from the front nose of the car back to the CO2 chamber. That nice gradual angle will really disturb the air very little, and I think they'll go very quickly. But Lightning Waves, ka-chow, it's a bit like Lightning McQueen from Cars. That is going to be a fast car, I think, and what a striking livery, matching their logo. That is a super strong brand identity.
Fantastic stuff. Let's get out on track and see how these 2 great-looking cars perform.
Race number 1 with PA Racing in lane 1 and Lightning Waves in lane 2. Lights out, there they go.
And Lightning Waves cracking up a storm there with a 1.928. PA Racing so close behind with a 1.976.
What a great performance from both teams there, going under the 2-second barrier for both teams in our first race. It's such close racing. It's so exciting. You can see both teams flying down our track so fast indeed that I think our cameras missed them in that race. Well, let's check out race number 2.
Race number 2, exciting stuff going on, Tom. Cars still in the same lanes.
And an amazing time from PA Racing with a 2.091. Lightning Waves very close behind with a 2.361.
Wow, good times again. Slightly slower. Can the racing have anything to do with teams starting fast and then getting a little bit slower, Lawrence?
Yeah, so as we can see, the construction of these primary class cars is out of, some softer materials. We've got some paper, some cars, and these cars accelerate to very high speeds over the 20-metre racetrack, but then they have to come to a stop in a very small distance, and ultimately we can see that damaging the cars. So when we see these cars go faster and or equally keep a consistent speed, that's a sign that these kids have, really put a lot of care and attention into the build of their cars, and maybe they've also thought about the materials, used something a bit, maybe a bit of a sturdier car so it's a bit more rigid.
Thanks for that, Lawrence. Well, we're going to be changing lanes now. Let's get out on track for race number 3.
Race number 3, Lightning Waves now in lane 1 and PA Racing in lane 2. It's not end game for any of these teams, guys.
Well, PA Racing seems to be frozen at the 2-second mark. Hopefully they can get a little bit quicker. With a 2.077, Lightning Waves with a 2.376.
Wow, great stuff there. You've done a great job, both teams, flying down our track again and posting some really, really strong times. I wonder if, Nelson, any of our teams can post under 2 seconds in our final race. What do you reckon?
Let's see. We need to consider lots of things during racing, Tom, especially when the teams are preparing the cars. Unfortunately, we don't have the teams with us for them to observe the process. But every time that one of these cars, that actually are made out of paper and card, hit the acceleration system, they can suffer a little bit of damage or deformation on how it was initially designed. So every time he races a little bit different. But the most important thing is not to get one great race, is to be consistent throughout the 4.
Absolutely, thanks for that input, Nelson, there. Well, let's see what happens. Can anyone break that 2-second barrier again in race number 4?
Race number 4, Lightning Waves in lane 1, PA Racing in lane 2. It's lights out, Amy.
Oh, and look, we did a very good job there of guessing that. PA Racing going under 2 seconds with a 2.904. Lightning Waves with a 2.194.
Maybe PA Racing were cheering so loud that it encouraged their car to go down the track a little bit faster. And same for Lightning Waves, striking straight down that track there. Really, really great performance by both teams. And you probably want me to stop talking so you can find out where you are in the leaderboard. Let's find out. There we have it, PA Racing getting straight in position 3 there, under investigation with the 1.904, well done. And position 4 for Lightning Waves, again under investigation with the 1.928, fantastic stuff. Well, who are our next 2 teams going to be, Amy?
And our next 2 cars taking the track are going to be Zoom and Dogs of Flame.
Zoom and Dogs of Flame. Wow, it's hotting up here, isn't it, right now? And you can see there with some Marvel down the side. Is that a Deadpool or a Spider-Man? I'm not entirely sure. Let's find out, Lawrence.
Well, I mean, that Zoom car is so eye-catching. I can't wait to see that going. I mean, I think there's some interesting work there, though, because we can see that little, we can see the CO2 chamber element of the car poking out there with that little paper bridge bit. Maybe that is actually meant to deform as it goes down the track, just crouching down and moving out of the way of the air to have a little less resistant. But that Dogs of Flame car, wow, I mean, I love that. It's so striking. And we can see also they've got this really wide front wing. So that's, I think they're aiming there to just push the air over the front wheels, just so that they don't spin it up and create turbulence.
Well, thanks for that, Lawrence, and fantastic insight as ever. Let's get out on track and see how these cars perform.
Race 1 with Zoom in lane 1 and Dogs of Flame in lane 2.
And Zoom, definitely zooming down the track with a 1.923. Dogs of Flame very close behind with a 2.133.
Wow, some great times again. Lots of teams getting under 2 seconds, which is great to see. Now, Nelson, I noticed on one of our cars there a kind of tread on the wheel system and one with a kind of smooth wheel system. Can you explain how a team has got that?
Well, those little stickers are actually provided by Pirelli for our teams to be able to make the wheels look more F1-ish. So that basically means that the one that has the tread in real F1, that's the type of tread that the teams use when it's raining. So it really looks great on the car and really good a return of investment for Pirelli because we can see them here in the car, so it's great.
Thanks for that, Nelson. It does look absolutely fantastic. So let's head out on track for race number 2.
Race number 2 is Zoom in lane 1 and Dogs of Flame in lane 2.
Well, Zoom raining all over Dogs of Flame there with a 1.810. Dogs of Flame posting a 2.304.
Wow, a great time again from Zoom, getting very close to Blanche's time. And Dogs of Flame getting in there with a really, really strong time as well, that 2.304. Really well done to both of your teams. And Lawrence, just sticking with the kind of the tread, the no tread, how's that going to affect it's obviously not raining on our track, how's that going to affect the performance out there?
No, so on Formula One cars, the reason that you would have those gaps in the tread is that so it scoops up the rain and moves it down the way, out of the way. But really, tread on F1 cars is used to get the grip as they slide through the corners. But as we're just going down a straight track, actually, I think we could see those rain tyres having maybe a bit of a positive effect because there's that little smaller amount of the wheel in contact with the track, a little less rolling resistance, and maybe that'll get them the edge.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks for that, Lawrence. Well, let's head out and check out the next race.
Oh, there he goes again, Amy. I heard it again. Race 3, Dogs of Flame in lane 1 and Zoom in lane 2.
And Zoom proving their name is correct again with another 1.852. Amazing job from them. Dogs of Flame with a 2.145.
Both teams proving that they're too quick for our cameras there. They shoot down that track incredibly fast indeed. Well, there's one more race for these two teams, so get screaming, make a loud noise. Let's head out on track for race number 4.
Race number 4. Let's hear it for Dogs of Flame! And for Team Zoom!
Zoom.
Lights out!
And Zoom getting an amazing time there of a 2.009. And they're not the Lady and the Tramp, they're the Dogs of Flame. And they got a 2.077.
Wow, Dogs of Flame
Wow.
absolutely smashed that one out there. Really, really well done. And again, I'm probably talking too much. Let's check out the leaderboard. And there we have it, zooming into position at number 2 with that 1.810, just on the heels of Blanche. And in 7th position, there's the Dogs of Flame with the 2.077. Absolutely amazing stuff from both our teams. Now, I hope you've seen The Lion King or Finding Nemo, because Lawrence is going to talk to you about biomimicry.
Awesome, I love that transition, Tom. So, often we can see cars inspired by animals, and this is actually something that we use in F1 and beyond in all industry. So it's the practice of taking inspiration from nature as a purpose of solving problems. So here we're looking at actually one of our secondary school cars. This is Hammerhead, and we can see not just their team name and logo are inspired by nature, but their car design itself. So on the left we have this hammerhead shark. We can see its wide head, and we can see that this is imitated with the nose of the car. Obviously they're using this to move the air over the wheels. This is really cool, and I hope we see it in some of your designs too.
Yeah, that looks
Great.
absolutely fantastic. It's nice to see how you can take something from nature and turn it into a fantastic product, and that's something that's out there. So make sure with your teachers you do check that out, and Velcro might be something you do want to check out as well. We know that that has been designed with biomimicry in mind. What's our next 2 teams then, Amy?
And the next 2 teams on track are Abdul, Benz and the Serpents of Doom.
Ooh, the Serpents of Doom slipping along there, and Abdul Benz with their really cool red and black vibe to the car. Lawrence, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I think we might actually talk about the way these cars have been manufactured, because I'd say the Serpents of Doom might not have been, say, cut out by hand, but maybe they used something called a laser cutter to cut this out. This is a machine that uses a laser, fires it through your paper and follows a program to cut the body. This means you can replicate the same design identically time after time. Whereas Abdul Benz, I'd maybe say that's been cut out by the team members. No advantage really to either, but yes, just 2 different ways that you can maybe try and get an edge over the competition. They're 2 very striking cars for sure, and I think let's see them race.
Let's see them race indeed. Let's find out if the Serpents of Doom are faster than snakes on a plane, and if Abdul Benz are faster than the Mercedes F1 team. Off we go.
Well, we have in lane 1 Abdul Benz. In lane 2, I have to say it's kind of scary, Amy. Here's Serpents of Doom. Let's see.
And Abdul Benz take that with a really quick 2.145. And no need to be scared. Nelson, the Serpents of Doom post a 2.421.
2 great first times that we can see there. And we did see as well, Lawrence, that the Serpents of Doom had that kind of printed finish, and then we had the kind of hand finish from Abdul Benz. Is that something that's easy to do, printing out onto card, or not?
I mean, that is the brilliant thing about these cars. You know, we can get these liveries made purely by printing on the paper, but I mean, that was a super professional design. I mean, I'd like to give a little round of applause to whoever designed that car. It really looks stunning.
Go for it then.
Well done. Yeah.
Well done to the Serpents of Doom designer, and please do let us know by hitting into the YouTube comments how you designed it, and maybe used a professional package like Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. We'd be very impressed if you did. Right, let's head over to the track and find out what happens in race number 3.
Race number 2, Tom. We will get to race number 3, but still in the same lanes, Abdul Benz and the Serpents of Doom.
And the Serpents of Doom just crossing the line there with a 2.917. Abdul Benz take that one with a 2.209.
Well, great stuff there. Sorry about jumping ahead. I got too excited there and dived into race 3, but that was race number 2, as we saw. 2 great times again. Serpents of Doom just getting over the line a little bit more slowly, but we have to say kudos for actually making it down the track, because sometimes we do see some cars not actually making it down the track. And Amy, you've competed in F1 in schools and you've shared your highlight. What was the main part that you enjoyed about working with a team, or did you just prefer kind of just going tunnel vision and working on your own?
I think the great thing about F1 in schools is that you do really have to work as a team to make sure that you get the best results possible. So the one thing I really enjoyed is that we all had our own specialities on the car and in the project, but if anyone ever needed help, we'd all drop something so that we could always try to support the one team member that was struggling. So we kind of all eventually at the end had a grasp on all project elements, so that if a judge did ask one of us a question and it wasn't our area of expertise, we would kind of feel comfortable at least giving some sort of answer. So it's really important that you all kind of work together and that you all know exactly what's going on.
Thanks for that, Amy. Great advice for all teams. So remember, working together is key. Knowing what everyone else is doing, just in case you get that question from a judge or from one of the team members from F1 in schools, so you can all answer the correct questions. And that's when we're back in person. We can't wait to see you all back in person again very, very soon. But let's head out on track and find out what happens in race number 3, Nelson.
Race number 3 now. Now with the cars in different lanes, guys. Serpents of Doom in lane 1 and Abdul Benz in lane 2.
And the Serpents of Doom really jumping out of the Jungle Book there with a 2.055. Abdul Benz very close behind with a 2.092.
Wow, that was a great race. Incredibly close indeed. That was a really difficult one to call as the cars flew down our track. Absolutely amazing stuff. And we're seeing these great brand identities, or is it born identities of these cars? And Lawrence, how much emphasis did you put on your brand identity?
Yeah, the brand identity is such an important part of the team because, you know, while you may make, small cars, they look like they're from Toy Story. Every other element of the competition, there's nothing that needs to separate you from real Formula One teams. Making that brand identity that really stands out to people is so important. So my team was Centurion Racing. We tried to have a name that no one had had before. And we had these really simple colours. Our team was black and white. We always wore those colours to a competition, and that way you always knew it was us.
Great stuff. So it is important to keep that brand identity flowing throughout everything that you do, and every team so far has done an absolutely fantastic job of their brand identity. So really, really well done. Top job to all. Let's head out back on track for race number 4.
Race number 4, guys. Serpents of Doom. Abdul Benz.
And an incredible time for Abdul Benz there with a 2.017.
Oh,
Serpents of
well
Doom
done.
very close behind with a 2.116.
Fantastic work, both teams. That was absolutely amazing. Right, well, let's check out how that's put you in our leaderboard. With one set of races to go and 2 more cars, Abdul Benz in position 6 there with a 2.017, and the Serpents of Doom in position 7, just hot on their heels with a 2.055. And my word, that leaderboard is incredibly tight. It's anyone's game. Let's find out what happens with our last and final. I said there was 2 teams. I actually think there's only 1 team left, so sorry for the mistake there. Let's head over to Amy, who's going to introduce the last team.
Yeah, and our final solo racer is Daiser from Coldfall Primary School. Hopefully they're not going to send us into an ice age.
Absolutely brilliant looking car there. I like the theme that's on there. It's got a very Alice in Wonderland kind of theme, I'd say. Over to you, Lawrence.
Yeah, loving that car. You know, you can see the different card symbols on the top, the spade, the heart, the diamond, the club. And I think just one thing to mention before we go into this race, the fact that this team's racing alone, there's not going to be a team in the other lane. So we will see the Daiser winning every race, but they're not really racing that other car. They're trying to get the best time they can for that overall leaderboard. So, don't worry, guys, and good luck.
Well, let's head out on track and see if Daiser can post a really, really good time.
Let's go Team Daiser in lane 1. I do love the theming on the car. It kind of reminds me of Casino Royale. But Let's see their time. Guys, just to explain why we're not seeing the time immediately, the track is just waiting to see if there's a car on lane 2, and there we go.
And there we have our first time from Daiser with a 2.50.
Absolutely amazing stuff there from Daiser. Great to see. We all comment on that brand identity, which we mentioned just before, and clearly Daiser has absolutely nailed that, so well done. We're loving your car design. Make sure you're screaming and shouting while you're watching your car, and you never know, those screams and shouts might make your car just go a little bit faster. Let's find out in race number 2.
Race number 2, not mission impossible at all, Team Daiser. You can do this. Come on. Lights out.
The real question is, shaken or stirred, Nelson?
The cars get quite shaken by hitting the deceleration system, I can tell you that, Amy.
And a little bit slower there from Daiser with a 2.928. Come on, I know you can go a little bit quicker than that.
Definitely, and you can see there that maybe the deceleration system has had a slight impact on the car after the first race, and maybe that's what's kind of slowed it down a little bit there in the second race. So we've got 2 races left of this region. So what that means for you guys is you've got 2 more opportunities to make as much noise as possible. So make sure you're screaming for the teams. Make sure you're commenting on the YouTube stream, okay? And just remember that tomorrow is the award shows where you'll find out how the awards are going to be dished out and what everybody is winning. So drum roll please for race number 3. It's Daiser out on track.
Come on, Team Daiser. Now in lane number 2. And Tom, it doesn't matter that they're racing alone. They're not racing alone, they're logging 4 times. That's the most important thing. This is not an elimination race where we are eliminating the team on the other lane.
Well, they've definitely said a hocus pocus there. Daiser getting a quicker time of a 2.811.
It was, wasn't it? A much quicker time there than the second race. And again, we're seeing the car times are ever so slightly different for each of these races. You just don't know what's going to happen in the last race from this regional. We have had an absolutely amazing time seeing these cars. So let's find out what happens in our final race of this region out on track.
Come on, guys. Come on, Team Daiser. Final chance. Final race. Lights out.
Now that looked quick.
Tum, tum. Tum, tum.
And it was quick indeed with a 2.401 for the final race for Daiser.
Well done to Daiser. Great finish to the regional there, posting, I believe, your fastest time of all of your 4 runs, which is great. And again, you think you want to know, where are you in our leaderboard? Well, let's find out. And there we have it. There's the leaderboard. Daiser there in 11th position with that 2.401, an incredibly good score and time. So really, really well done to Daiser, finishing off the regional really strongly indeed. So we'll head over now and we'll see how the final leaderboard looks with all your points allocated for today's racing. Over we go to the final leaderboard. And there is Blanche in position 1, Zoom in number 2, Galaxy Bulls in number 3, PA Racing in 4, Lightning Waves in 5, and Abdul Benz in 6, Serpents of Doom in 7, with the Power Hound in 8, and the Dogs of Flame in 9. The Dream Team in position 10, and there we have it, Daiser in 11. Well done to all of our teams today. You've done an absolutely astounding job. The racing was exciting, it was fast, it was fun, and it was dangerous. We've had a fantastic time in the studio. I hope you've enjoyed it as much watching at home. So it leaves me just to say now, well done to our students and massive thank you. You have done an amazing job designing, making and building your cars and getting them to us in this factory to see what happened today. And with your portfolios and your verbal presentations, and make sure you check out the award show tomorrow to find out what happens overall.
Forget about the teachers, Tom.
I'm not going to forget about the teachers. Thank you very much for reminding me, Nelson. And well done to your teachers supporting you through the process. Kudos to those teachers. They did an amazing job giving up extra time to make sure that you could be part of this show today. So thanks again to our teachers for supporting the F1 in Schools competition. And finally, from the studio, Lawrence, thank you very much for your technical input and your knowledge. It was brilliant. If you want to check out Lawrence's biomimicry presentation, please just check out the recording at the end of this stream. Thanks to Nelson again for commentating and for your insight into the competition. It's amazing. And Amy, your commentary as ever is absolutely fantastic, so thank you very much. And from me, Tom, here at F1 in Schools HQ, we've had an absolutely fantastic regional. We really enjoyed it, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow to dish out those awards. See you tomorrow, guys.